Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Just wanted to make a quick video just kind of talking a little bit about myself, about stand fit training, about where I've come from, my past, where I'm going, things I like to do, things I'm interested in. So started off with right out of high school. And when I was in high school, I was really big into like street racing. My car, I had a Camaro. I had one of the like Fox body Mustangs. My dad had one. And we'd just sit around in the garage and swap out the cams and the heads, and we'd go race each other. And so I grew up around racing. My dad was a big drag racer, and so it was something that I really got into when I was in school. And I was known as the guy with like one of the fastest cars on campus or whatever. So and I still love cars. Believe it or not, I just got a new truck. I got a Dodge Ram. It's got the Hemi V8. It's got a lot of power. I don't really race it though. Obviously, it's just a truck. It's very comfortable. That's coming from a Honda Civic. I actually had two of them over the last 10 years. I drove a Honda Civic, and they're great cars. Very reliable, dependable, great on gas mileage. So I have nothing bad to say about the Hondas. It's just that it was just time for me to get something a little bigger, as I had outgrown the size of the Civic. So. But after high school, I went off to join the Navy. I was in the Navy for 5 years, and I was stationed at the Naval Air Station in Fort Worth, Texas. I was part of Squadron VR-59. I was an airplane mechanic. We were a fleet logistics squadron, and we would carry like Marines and Army troops and their cargo and supplies, and we would fly them around, dropping them off, picking up supplies, taking things from point A to B. And at times they would take the mechanics with as they would go overseas, and really that's the best part about my military experience, was just the traveling. I got to go to a lot of places. Japan, Ireland, Singapore, Thailand. I went to Hawaii a couple times. I went to Guam, Spain, and Sigonella, Sicily. Wake Island, which is a small island in the mid-Pacific, super small. I mean, you could almost throw rocks from one side of the shore to the next. In Alaska, I had a chance to visit. So I got to see a lot of places at a young age. That was the best part about the military. I don't have any regrets. I learned that being a mechanic just wasn't my trade. Working on my cars, souping up my cars in school is totally different than switching out actuators on aircraft, ailerons, and working on the hydraulic systems. The fluid gets on your skin, it's corrosive, it can get in your eye, which happened a couple times. They have to take you to the medical center and wash your eyes out in an eye wash. So I didn't really care so much for the mechanical work, but I did enjoy the camaraderie of my coworkers, or my shipmates, whatever you want to call them, and just being able to get on the plane and go fly overseas and get to travel and just see a lot of countries at a young age. So that was the best part. I have a lot of memories from those travel experiences. So I did that for 5 years. And shortly out of the military, I kind of had a few odd jobs. I worked in the service industry for a little bit. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to get into at the time. I worked with one of my best friend's businesses who was doing credit card debt settlement, and really got a taste of sales. I never really tried to do like phone sales before, so it was really a challenge trying to gain trust and build rapport with someone that you've never seen in person, you've never met, and you're just talking to them on the phone. So, but every job that you have over the past, builds you up to who you are now. And, you learn something from each one of those jobs and those careers. And eventually I would get to a point where I was getting into the gym more, I was working out, kind of seeing some results with myself. I've always been pretty lean. I don't have like a huge weight loss story like a lot of people that were gained all this weight and they just lost 100 pounds. I never had anything like that happen to me. I was very skinny. Growing up in high school, I probably weighed 175 pounds. I'm 6'1". I mean, I was very thin. I was into skateboarding in high school. I didn't play any sports. Of course, now I train and I love lifting weights. So every time I run into someone, they're like, "Did you play football? Did you play ball in school?" They're always asking me that. And I'm like, "No, it's like I skateboarded." And they're kind of like, "Oh, really?" But that was my thing. I really enjoyed skating. Me and my friends would just stay out all day in the summertime. We'd just skate from one place to the next, and it was good times learning to skate. And it was very challenging, just trying to learn the different types of tricks and how to position your feet to flip and kick the board around so that you can perform the trick. So it takes a lot of practice, and I've always been the type of person where I'm like, just give me the tools, give me the manual, and I can take everything and I'll just sit down and I'll take it apart and I'll put it back together and I'll study it and I'll learn everything about it. And that's why I like skateboarding, because I could just go out on my own and just practice, and through repetition you get better. Which is kind of similar to weight training or bodybuilding, because every time you go to the gym and you're training, you're practicing. You're practicing every time you do the lifts, building that mind-muscle connection, working on your form, your technique. And so I can kind of see how the two of those sports kind of interrelate. But eventually I got a job at Gold's Gym. Of course, I got certified as a personal trainer, and I was working at Gold's Gym, started kind of building up my clientele over there. And after about a year, I was like, I think I want to do this on my own, because they weren't really paying a lot. And if any of you guys have done personal training, you really have to do it on your own to make it really count. So after a year, I decided to take off on my own and train my clients over at my apartment gym training facility, which is very nice. During that time, I actually got into modeling, and had some pictures taken through a college photographer, and I took those photos around town. And I walked in a few agencies, and they were like, "No," they're like, "You don't look good," or they're like, "We don't, this isn't the look we're looking for." And eventually, I walked into another place, and they were like, "Wow," they're like, "You look great. We want to talk to you." And I remember being so anxious, like waiting for them to call me back. And about a week went by, and I was like, "Man, it's not going to happen." And then sure enough, they called me, and they're like, "We want to bring you on board." And so I was really excited to get the news. And I started doing modeling, and I actually made some decent money doing a few things. I landed a campaign for Dell Computers back in like 2010 for their catalog that paid very well. I took a couple trips to New York during Market Week, and worked with Hager Men's Clothing. They make the slacks, and of course they make shirts and everything, but got to travel a little bit. I did some stuff locally around town. A lot of the stuff where I live in Dallas is just more like commercial based, and so a lot of the shots are just like, you with a polo shirt on, nothing really fancy. There's not really a lot of fitness stuff going on around here. So I did that on and off for probably about 2 or 3 years, and I don't do it as much anymore because I started getting into the physique competitions, and I started getting more into my training and developing my body. And in the model industry, just regular commercial modeling, they want you to look very, I'm trying to think of the word, just kind of just a normal kind of build. They don't want you to have any kind of muscle, or they don't want you to be real shredded or anything like that, because I guess they think that takes away from the image. So kind of got away from the modeling. They weren't really calling me anymore. So I was doing personal training on my own. My best friend, Jose, has a masonry business, construction, which he's had for like 12 years now. And so I started working with him some, doing like independent contracting, where I would go out and meet with a homeowner and, you know, talk to them about their project. They could be building an outdoor fireplace, outdoor kitchen, or they may just need some repairs, some brick repairs or something on the property. So started doing that with him and did very well. As far as competitions go, the first one I did was in 2011. That's when I first started. From 2011 to 2012, I competed 5 times, which I'll tell you right now is way too many times. That's way too much in 1 year. I mean, competing once or twice in a year is good, and I would recommend setting yourself up to do something kind of back to back, just so you're not so stressed out and you can kind of relax at some part of the year. So hit a competition, say at the end of May, maybe, you know, maintain your conditioning for you know, 2 or 3 weeks, and then go into the next one. So I've competed 8 times total since I did my first competition. I placed in the top 3 in 6 out of 8 competitions. I got first, second, and I think I kind of averaged out in third, but top 3 placer. 2 of the shows, obviously, I did not make it. One, I was just way too fat. I just was not stage lean, and I just didn't deserve to be up there. So the second time, I actually looked what I still to this day think I looked possibly my best, and I freaking spilled over when I was in line. And so basically what that means is before the show and the days leading up to the show, you're trying to fill up your muscle glycogen stores, and you do this by consuming maybe more food or more carbohydrates to try to, you know, fill your muscles up, so that when you come out on stage you don't look flat and depleted, but your muscles are really full and round and really stand out. And so I had eaten too much that morning, and it was a nightmare. It really was like, this is like the ultimate nightmare for any competitor. When you're standing in line, you're about to do your walkout, and you look down and you spilled over. So basically you've got a layer of fluid in between your skin and your muscle. So that real sharp razor kind of shredded look kind of disappears, because you have all this fluid under your skin, and you know, it really just takes away from the image, and it's obvious, you can't hide it, you know. And so that's why I didn't place in that competition, but I certainly learned something, you know, and so I'll never spill over again. I'll never carb up and overcarb before a competition. But anyways, it's just, I know it's a little bit of a rant, but just kind of wanted to make one of these videos where I'm just kind of talking to y'all from the camera and just let you know a little bit more about me. Still new to all this editing and filming, and I mean, I'm having a hard time just trying to get this camera to focus sometimes, but look forward to bringing you guys really good content here on the channel. And one other thing that you might not know about me is my girlfriend. His name is Alejandra, and we met last year in Nicaragua. I went on vacation with a friend of mine, and we met towards the end of the trip, and we're really just having a great time. And I never thought I would meet someone in another country, but you know, that's usually how it happens. When you least expect it, you know, that person happens to show up. And so you know, thank God we have social media and FaceTime and Facebook and stuff like that, because that's originally kind of how we connected. But her name's Alejandra. Here's a picture. She actually just sent this to me the other day. Just a few shots of us over the last few months. I think it's been about 9 months now, and So she lives in Costa Rica. I've been there twice. I went there twice last year to be with her for about a week at a time. She's came here once to Dallas, and this is her first time in America. So it's definitely a whole different ball game, dating someone from a distance. But I feel like once you meet someone that just makes you feel that certain kind of way, it doesn't matter, you know, what part of the planet they're on, that, you know, you want to do whatever it takes to make it happen. So she's really sweet. I love her to death, and I can't wait for her to get back over here. She should be here in the summertime to visit again. So that's about all I can think about. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave your comments. If there's any kind of topics that you'd like for me to discuss, just let me know. And we'll have more videos here for you in the future. Thanks for tuning in.